Parallel to all of this is the point that I've made, not always publicly, but certainly privately for months and months, going back well into last year, that if the government leadership had changed, the coalition could have won this election. Today it's clear, and I know it to be a fact, that there were MPs who saw the party going over the cliff, who urged Frydenberg to challenge. But Josh even bunked down with Prime Minister Morrison at the Lodge during August, and there was genuine concern that he'd become too close to the Prime Minister to sense how unpopular Morrison was becoming with voters. Josh refused to turn against Morrison. He's always been loyal to the leader, but as I've told him often, there's no point in being loyal to false causes. Then, of course, Prime Minister Morrison took off to Glasgow to say "me too" to the Labor Party's climate change policy. That, along with the government's handling of the Brittany Higgins rape allegations and the Prime Minister's outburst against Christine Holgate, that was the beginning of the end. Throughout all of this, it was Prime Minister Morrison's judgment that it was always crook. Had he called an election at the end of last year, several things would have been clear. Frydenberg, for a start, was well in front on any polling in the seat of Kooyong. Monique Ryan, the paediatric neurologist who won the seat on Saturday, had at that point not been heard of. But by the time Glasgow and the Omicron outbreak wreaked havoc on Australia's reopening and its summer holiday plans, by budget time in March, Frydenberg was in trouble, the government was in trouble, and the ritual burying of the Liberal Party had begun. One point I'd make clear. If the coalition now holds the lowest proportion of seats as a share of the parliament since the Liberal Party first ran at the 1946 election, you won't reclaim those seats by listening to people like Matt Kean and making a further lurch to the left. That is what has pitchforked the coalition into the trouble it faced last Saturday. It's going to further accelerate the trouble if those people control coalition policy. Well, last night when I interviewed Di Lee, who has been splendidly embraced in the former Labor seat of Fowler, with the most stunning upset amongst the 151 seats contested last Saturday across Australia, I made the point that Di Lee had once been a member of the Liberal Party, but she was suspended for 10 years for forming an independent team to run for the mayoralty of Fairfield City. 10 years. And I made the point, when you see the tremendous support for Di in the seat of Fowler, we should note that the Liberal Party, whose judgment on all of these things is rubbish, the Liberal Party failed to pre-select her for a spot on its upper house ticket in the New South Wales state election of 2015, and it failed to select her in the local government elections in September 2016. Now, you've heard her on this program. The reaction by you to the interview has been telling, but she got 10 years suspension because she was in breach of the Liberal Party's constitution. But as I said, in this schizophrenic Liberal Party, Turnbull's constant attacks on the Liberal Party, that he was afforded the privilege of leading mistakenly, I might add, but Turnbull's attacks are in breach of the Constitution. Kean's attacks, Matthew Kean, the New South Wales Treasurer, on Catherine Deves, are in breach of the Constitution. Turnbull and Kean passed without sanction. Di Lee got 10 years.